Okay, thanks everybody for joining today's webinar on CADLink for Acumatica. My name is Carson Fletcher. I am a solutions engineer here at QBuild Software, and today I'm going to walk you through everything CADLink for Acumatica. We're going to start with a quick introduction to QBuild, the company behind CADLink, then get into CADLink, its features and benefits, and I'm even going to show a demo on this webinar as well. There'll be the time at the end for questions and answers, so if you have any questions, please put them in the chat there. So an introduction to QBuild. What QBuild does is we focus mainly on engineering to ERP integration. So what we mainly do is reduce engineering costs by making engineers more productive. We're specializing in that engineer to ERP integration, helping engineers and folks using different CAD, PDM, or PLM softwares be more productive and spend less of their time doing double data entry and getting back to what they do best, actual engineering. We have offices across the world. So I'm coming to you from Toronto, but we have offices in Europe as well as in Asia Pacific, so we can support customers across the globe, no matter where they're located. Some stats on QBuild as a company. We've got just over 2,000 customers in manufacturing across all of our different integrations. We have 20 plus years of experience. QBuild's been around since the early 2000s. We have 50 plus engineering integration partners on the CAD, PDM, PLM, and nesting side, and 50 plus ERP integration partners. So that's all of our great ERP software provider partners and all of the community of value-added resellers that we work with as well. Some of those CAD, PDM, and PLM and nesting software logos that we integrate to ERP and Acumatica, you'll see on the screen there. So hopefully you recognize a logo that is familiar to you, but we work with all of the major ones, of course. So SolidWorks, Autodesk, Siemens, PTC, all of their suite of products, but even smaller ones and softwares like Tekla or Cabinet Vision, things like electrical integrations like Altium, SolidWorks Electrical, and AutoCAD Electrical as well. We're always adding to this list as well. So if there is, if you do use a CAD, PDM, or PLM system that you don't see on the list, definitely reach out and we can figure out how to best support that. We also do nesting integration through a different software, so different to CADLink. But if any of these logos sound familiar, we can also integrate those to Acumatica. So I mentioned CADLink and that other software to do the nesting integration. These are both part of our Q suite of products, specialized solutions for discrete manufacturing customers to fit our customers and help do that integration, do that handoff between engineering and ERP. So we've got three main solutions in the Q suite. CADLink, which is what I'm going to focus on today, but also NestLink, which does that nesting integration, and then also ECX Manager, which is an external engineering change management solution. But like I said, today, we're going to focus in on CADLink. So CADLink is our tool to connect CAD, PDM, and PLM bill of material design data to Acumatica. So if you have any of those SolidWorks, PTC, Autodesk, any of those logos from before, and you've got design data in there, bill of material items, and you need to get that into Acumatica, CADLink is the tool to do just that. So without CADLink, and if any of this is familiar to you, you'll notice right away here. Without something like CADLink, we've got sort of two sides of our process here. They're disconnected, right? We've got CAD designers over on the engineering side. They're providing item details, design models, bills of materials, the actual designs for the thing that we're going to manufacture. And on the other, we've got everyone working in the ERP. So production planners, procurement team, perhaps manufacturing engineers. And without a link, these two sides of the fence have no connection. And that can lead to lots of errors in the parts and bills of materials ending up in Acumatica. So if you don't have something like CADLink, you might see some of these symptoms. You might recognize some of these symptoms here. So if you've ever had or complaint in the company about an engineering bottleneck or a need to hire more engineers, that could be an indication that engineers are spending too much time entering data into the bill of material in Acumatica. I need to get back to doing the actual engineering work. If that handoff is taking too long, would be a reason that, or a reason to look into something like CADLink. Maybe you don't create full BOMs, estimates, or even production orders in Acumatica. Maybe the consensus is that the manual entry takes too long, and so you only enter partial bills of materials or just a piece of this BOM and don't track entirely in Acumatica that bill of material. CADLink can help with that, automate and streamline that process of going from one side to the other. Maybe there's been low project throughput or a slow engineering to estimate. Projects and jobs being delayed as they're held up by that engineering handoff. So if we can speed up that handoff, make the time delay between something being engineered and designed and something being inside Acumatica and ready to be produced, streamline that process and get the whole thing much faster. And lastly, BOM data errors. So if you ever notice a bill of material or an item, maybe someone is typing that kind of information into Acumatica, puts a wrong quantity or improper description, or even grabs the wrong part number. Those can be huge errors downstream, leading to all sorts of shop floor confusion and mix-ups when it comes to actually doing the production. So you want to have a link there to make sure that everything in Acumatica is matching and lining up with what was actually engineered on the bill of material. So if you have any of those symptoms, you might be employing one or two of our Band-Aid solutions, something you might be doing to handle that handoff right now. So one of them, obviously brute force, just type everything in to Acumatica. This is obviously a zero software cost, but incredibly error prone, incredibly time consuming. You're having these highly paid engineers type data into Acumatica that's already in their CAD or PDM or PLM system, or perhaps you've hired an entirely new person that just handles the transfer of data from one system to another. Now, that might be okay for something that's very infrequent or small changes, but if you're in a growing company and you're looking to scale, then that's just not going to cut it when you get to more frequent changes and larger changes. So you might look at maybe step 2, something that we call like a blind push, just blindly pushing data into Acumatica. You might be doing this with an Excel import or some kind of export process there. This could be slightly faster than brute force. Obviously, you're not having to type everything in to, say, an Excel file, but it's often going to require massaging of that data on both ends of the equation and inside of the Excel itself even to get this to work. It's often not a bidirectional connection as well, so there's no way to go backwards into, say, your CAD or PDM system from Acumatica. So you're missing out on that true linking of those two pieces of software in your CAD system in Acumatica. So really is just a blind push. You've got a bill of material in your Excel and you upload that to Acumatica and cross your fingers it works. It's often also reliant on a single person in IT. So maybe you've got some kind of custom setup that that someone in IT has set up years and years ago. And if there's any update to Acumatica, as they do twice a year, or any change in the CAD side as well, that can break that that custom solution. And if that person who developed it in IT has left, a story we've heard a lot of times before, if they've left, then you've got a bit of a black box in your hands and not exactly sure how it was built or how it works. And so that's another reason to look at something off the shelf like CADLink. So summing up here, some of the common engineering to ERP challenges that you might see without something like CADLink. The two big ones, manual data entry and export-import, error-prone, time-consuming, and with the export-import, there's no data validation. You have to do data massaging and that software upkeep, like I was just mentioning. So as a result, you've got slower engineering. You're going to come into wrong build, wrong inventory situations, shop errors, scrapping parts, just general frustration when the two sides of the coin don't shake hands. So you've got that data silo on either side. It's it's difficult to have the ERP side line up. So the fix to all of this is CADLink. CADLink links engineering directly with Acumatica. It's a bi-directional data exchange where you can sync item, bill of material data between the systems. With CADLink, we can go directly to the Acumatica BOM, but we can also go to the estimate or even directly to a production order. So there's some flexibility there. Basically, you're eliminating those data silos, right? You're making sure that if I've got a bill of material that's been designed in engineering, I can update Acumatica to match. I can add pieces onto that bill of material as well, but I can make sure it matches what was done in engineering so that I'm not suffering those downstream confusion and shop floor inaccuracies. Some typical CADLink customer details here, obviously a discrete manufacturer, so using a CAD system. That could be mechanical CAD, it could be electrical CAD, but they're doing some engineering design there. You might have custom or engineered to order products, something you're making as a one-off and you're doing it engineering design, and you've got to get that information into a production order. That's a common kind of CADLink customer. But also maybe you've got large assemblies or large machinery, meaning a large bill of material, and making even a small change, even infrequent small change to a large BOM. CADLink can help with the headaches associated with that. So some common industries at the bottom. So if you fit into any of those, you're definitely a fit for CADLink. Okay, let's take a look at a demo of CADLink here. I'm going to pull up here CADLink, and this is with SolidWorks. But I'll say that CADLink for SolidWorks or another CAD system, PDM system, PLM system, CADLink itself, the UI, the interface, looks largely identical. So there's not a large difference here. What I'm going to show is going to apply to most different kinds of CADLink integrations here. So in my demo, you can think of me as an engineer here. We have our model that we've made some changes to. Right, so we've made some changes to this model. Maybe I've added a few parts. Maybe I've removed some parts. Bottom line, we've made some changes here, and now we need to update Acumatica to match. Right, I need to update those materials. I need to update items, and because I have CADLink, I don't have to manually enter any of that, or I don't have to walk through a multi-step process here. I can just use CADLink, which lives directly inside of my tools menu in SolidWorks there. And the same would apply to most other CAD systems. We'd have an add-in here for CADLink. So you can see I've got my QBuild CADLink button, and here I can select from our three main landing spots in Acumatica. So this is the standard bill of material. You can go directly to the production order, or we can even go to the estimate BOM. Now, CADLink looks identical for all three of these, but obviously the landing point in Acumatica is different. So I'm going to show the standard bill of material. And once I run the standard BOM here, CADLink is going to do a couple of different things. One, it's going to look through my CAD model. You can see it's working its way through all of the items in the model here. And using the settings that I have set up in the CADLink settings, it is reading information about these parts. So I'm pointing it towards different properties on my SolidWorks models, and CADLink's going to grab those properties. It's then going to Acumatica and trying to find matching information in Acumatica. So it's looking for matching part numbers and bills of materials to run a comparison. So once we get to this screen here, this is the main CADLink interface. And on the left-hand side in this grid, this is our CADLink BOM grid. So all the different colors on the screen here tell me something different about the comparison that CADLink just did with Acumatica. So you can see we've CADLink has gone all the way down multiple levels of this bill of material, and all the color highlights here is CADLink's way of showing me the results of that comparison. So any row that has no highlight, this is CADLink telling me that this part, like 151 here, for instance, this part is already synchronized between the record of this item in engineering and the record of this item in Acumatica. So CADLink sees this part number here in my SolidWorks in this case, goes to Acumatica, finds a match, and then compares things like description, quantity on the bill of material, item class, unit of measure. You can map any field that's in the Acumatica item or bill of material page. So it sees those fields that we're mapping here, sees no difference, and so there's no highlight. That row is all white. Now, if CADLink did see a difference, it's going to highlight that difference to us in yellow. So any yellow highlighting here is CADLink highlighting a field level discrepancy to me. So this part here, for instance, 113, CADLink sees this part in SolidWorks and finds a matching item in Acumatica. But when it compares the description, it sees that the two systems disagree on this part's description. So you can see here, this description's highlighted in yellow. And if I click in there, I can actually see what those two values are. So here you can see my SolidWorks description, would be more detail in there. And my ERP description has less. So CADLink sees that difference. And then in this window, I can actually select which of these two descriptions I want to use moving forward. So you can see I've already got my CAD description defaulting in. CADLink's going to take that one as a default selection. But if I grab my CAD description, like I've got here, CADLink is going to be able to update this existing item in Acumatica with this new description that's come from the CAD side. So we can update existing records in Acumatica, existing items, existing bills of materials to match what we've got on the engineering side. So in this case, if I were to hit save in the top left, which is how we commit our changes, CADLink's going to update this item to have this new description. Now, that's what happens if I take my CAD description here, but I could take the ERP description, this value that is in Acumatica. Once I do that, if I were to hit save now, CADLink will have the option, the ability to write this information back to SolidWorks. So CADLink is able to save bidirectionally. We can, at the same time that we're updating Acumatica, we can update back to our CAD or our PDM or our PLM. So we can really synchronize both sides of the equation here to the same set of data. So that way, when I'm looking at a part number in Acumatica or looking at a part number on the CAD side, I know I'm looking at the same set of data. Okay. So that is the white and the yellow highlights. Next here is green. And that's a lot of this bill material. Everything in green is something that is brand new to Acumatica. So if I take this part as my example here, CADLink sees this part number in SolidWorks, goes to Acumatica, tries to find a match, but in this case doesn't find one. There is no item in Acumatica that matches with this inventory ID. So CADLink sees this, highlights the whole row to me in green to let me know that this is a brand new part that CADLink will be able to create for us. And CADLink will create this part in Acumatica with all the details that we can pull over from engineering. So this part number, in our case here, this description, it'll add this part to the bill of material with the proper quantity, as well as set up things like item class or base unit measure. And I can scroll to the right here and see a few more fields that we can set up. But like I said, you can map to any field that's on the Acumatica item or bill of material. But CADLink's going to be able to create this part for us in the system. And we don't have to go to, we don't actually have to go into Acumatica to create this part. CADLink can do it all for us. So when I'm running CADLink, I don't have to think about which parts are new or which parts have changed before I run CADLink. All I need to do is run CADLink on my bill of material that I've made changes to, and CADLink will tell me exactly what's different, and then go ahead and make those changes for me in the system, syncing everything on either side. So there's a couple of other highlights here. The main one I want to highlight today is this red highlight. The red highlight is CADLink's way of flagging any issues with data validation to me. So at the same time that we are updating or creating items and bills of materials in Acumatica, we're also making sure that the data we're sending to Acumatica follows any of their rules in the ERP. So if I can't create a part in Acumatica without a description, CADLink is going to follow those same rules. So here you can see I've got a couple of red highlights telling me that I need to give these two parts a description. And if I wasn't quite sure why I had the red highlight, I can always come to my messages tab on the right here, and it'll speak to me there in plain English, tell me how what those messages mean. So you can see here, description can't be empty. If I click on that message, it'll highlight the row for me, which I can then type in a description. So I can enter this in to CADLink. Once I do that, my messages have gone away. My save button, which was disabled, as you can see now as I mouse over it, it's now re-enabled. So I'm good to go and save this into Acumatica. And now, because CADLink is bidirectional, not only am I going to create this part, give it the description I've entered inside CADLink, but CADLink is also going to go back to SolidWorks and fill in that empty description, closing the loop and syncing that item on both sides of the equation here. Okay, so CADLink can update items, create items, update bumps, and create bumps. We also have a few other tabs here on the right-hand side. The one I want to highlight is our bill of materials tab. So in Acumatica, when you're creating a bill of material, you have to give it an operation step. And so we've got in CADLink here a way to add that operation step in as well. So you can see on the right-hand side, this is the same bill of material that's on the left, but now we've added in this line item here with this gear icon, which indicates an operation. So CADLink will add in a step 10 to all of my my assemblies here, but I can then go ahead and add an additional operation. So maybe I wanted to add another routing or work center here, step 20. I can then go ahead and grab a work center from the dropdown here, and this and any dropdown you see on CADLink, like this work center one here, or if we're gonna maybe we wanted to change a unit of measure or an item class, and any of these dropdowns are going to come directly from Acumatica. So you can see here I can pull from Acumatica the list of work centers. Maybe I want to grab this one here. And then I can even drag and drop these items down to the work center they need to go to. So in addition to synchronizing the engineering bill of material with CADLink, I can also start to address some of these more manufacturing bill of material items here, like our routings in CADLink. So we can more fully set up that bill of material in Acumatica and get it prepared for production and all those downstream processes. Okay, so once I've loaded up CADLink, once I've checked any discrepancies or maybe entered in an empty description, I can hit the save button in the top left, and CADLink will go ahead and actually make all of those changes. So it will update items, update bums, create items and create bills of materials, and synchronize Acumatica to engineering. Let me come out of my demo here. There we go. So the main benefits of CADLink are twofold here. So we're going to be reducing engineering costs right? We're reducing those non-value-added engineering activities, getting these folks back to what they do best in actually designing bills of materials and designing models and drawings. By eliminating that double and triple data entry as well, just going to speed the whole process up and so reduce those costs. We're also going to improve accuracy. So from going from a direct link between the two softwares versus something that you're having someone manually type in, you're reducing scrap, improving in purchasing accuracy, and just eliminating those wrong builds and shop floor confusion moments when you've got something on the job that's not meant to be there. Maybe it was entered in wrong. CADLink's going to remove that. So the CADLink advantage, I wanted to add a few words here to highlight CADLink's advantage on in doing the SolidWorks or engineering to Acumatica integration. So first off, functionality, as I mentioned already, that we can do the standard bill of material. We can also do estimate production order. We are also compatible with the Acumatica ECC, engineering change control. So if you'd rather have the bill of material change route through Acumatica's engineering change control module, CADLink's fully compatible there. You saw in our demo, we can do routings, but I can also map things like item attributes. We can do auto numbering to use the Acumatica numbering system. We can even attach files into Acumatica, things like drawings or PDFs. It's a pretty easy to use and intuitive interface. So as soon as you load up CADLink, the color highlights tell you exactly what's different, and it's not a big task to take a look and understand what you're looking at. In terms of our implementation and just the team here from QBuild, we've got a fixed fee implementation and ongoing support included fully with the licensing. So that direct support is with our QBuild project managers and a technical resource. So you'll have a direct access to those folks, and they'll help you guide you through the implementation. Lastly here, we're willing to tailor solutions to maybe a specific problem you might have. So we've got a great out-of-the-box solution. It's going to solve 99% of scenarios, but there's always the 1% of special cases, and we don't shy away from being able to help bridge that gap and come up with a complete solution for you guys. So we have the expertise, we've got the knowledge and the know-how here to roll that out and help you guys come up with a complete solution. Okay, so don't just take my word for it, of course. We've got a number of different testimonials and customer stories on our website, as well as our Acumatica marketplace page. I'm highlighting one here from the team at JNS, part of the Walden Group. They highlighted, having CADLink allowing them to enter those materials fast and efficiently, fraction of the time, quick and easy. And then they also made a note of how the implementation team, the tech support being great to work with. So everything I was mentioning there in the presentation, but from the mouth of an actual CADLink user. So we've got lots of others on our page there. Go ahead and take a look. But we've also been working on building out our stable of Google reviews. So you can also take a look there and see what other folks are saying about us. This is something we're really proud of, building out a big stable of positive reviews. So go ahead and take a look. Okay, and that's we're coming to the end of my webinar here. Next steps, if you liked what you saw, you're interested in learning more, reach out, schedule a discovery call with myself or the team here at QBuild. If you're interested in pricing, newly now we are actually part of the Fulfilled by Acumatica program. So pricing for CADLink licenses is all done through Acumatica and their VARs. So if you're looking for pricing information, reach out to your VAR and they can get you that pricing info. I'll say, because I know there's a few existing CADLink customers who signed up to the webinar here, this means that your renewal will be done through Acumatica, but none of the billing changes or anything like that is there's no change in your contract there. Otherwise, just who the PO or the billing is going through. Okay, Well, thanks everybody for attending the webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat, and I'm happy to stick around here and answer them. Otherwise, thanks for coming to our webinar and listening here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.